Hushpuppi, he's one of the good guys. He's cool.
$10,000 for you.
Oh my God.
That's $10,000 for you.
What's up, guys? It's Jason here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Watch out for get-rich-quick scams insight. Would you want to document and share the location of every moment of your life that you consider interesting or significant? Would you want to check the location and goings-on of every acquaintance, friend, and ex-boyfriend or girlfriend that's in your life and that of random strangers? If a vlogger randomly asked you this question on the street, you probably wouldn't have to think twice about saying no. Yet, that's pretty much what Instagram is, and many millennials worldwide live for Instagram. They go places so that they can post photos on Instagram that they've been there. Same with restaurants. Same with pretty much every aspect of their social lives. In fact, as recently as April 2021, about 32% of Instagram users were between the ages of 25 to 34, and about 29% are 18 to 24 years old. As anyone who has used Instagram even a few times knows, it's highly addictive because it feeds into the human desire to keep up with the Joneses and show off your very best life, even if it's not your day-to-day life. Even if it's not your real life. What does that mean? Well, for instance, if you work at McDonald's but are racking up credit card bills to buy a Gucci bag to show off on Instagram, do the unboxing and match it with your outfit of the day on Instagram, but not in your McDonald's uniform. It's not very picturesque. On an even higher level, it's not uncommon for 9-to-5ers to open up Instagrams to see people their own age driving Lamborghinis, riding in private jets, buying Patek Philippe watches, and showing off the best that money can buy. A lot of times that means rich parents and trust funds. Other times it means using friends in high places to take photo shoots in mansions and private jets they don't own. Other times it means showing off ill-gotten wealth, even at the expense of being exposed as an Instagram scammer. While scams continue to proliferate on every platform, from cryptocurrencies to white-collar Bernie Madoff scams, Instagram has become a place where people engaged in showing off the high life to their followers get adored digitally and sometimes get exposed on social media too. Let's take a look at a few of the most high-profile scammers who lived their best lives on Instagram and are either in the custody of law enforcement or have otherwise fallen from grace. You might be asking, how do I avoid scams on Instagram? By the end of this video, I hope you'll know what to watch out for to avoid falling for these social media scammers. Before we begin, if you wouldn't mind just tapping that like button for the YouTube algorithm, I'd really appreciate it. The more engagement a video like this gets, the more likely the YouTube algorithm is to push it out for more people to enjoy. And as this is a brand new channel I started this year, I appreciate a billionfold. Leave a comment and I'll definitely do my best to respond, free of charge. If you find social media addicting, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for new videos each week. Thanks for doing that, and now let's continue on with the rise and fall of social media scammers. Hushpuppi. By some accounts, up to 66% of Instagram accounts with more than 1 million followers were engaged in fraudulent activity. Fraudulent activity can range from using click farms or paying usually overseas contractors to like and click en masse on Instagram posts, all the way to using Instagram itself as a platform to defraud people of money. In the case of one of the most recent and high-profile Instagram takedowns, Hushpuppi, born in Ramona Boss, is a Nigerian Instagram celebrity who is famous for living lavishly in Dubai without having a legitimate career. It turns out he didn't, as the 37-year-old was arrested in June of this year in Dubai for business email compromise. What exactly does that term mean? It describes an illegal get-rich-quick scheme that relies on the carelessness of others. Scammers like Hushpuppi create email addresses that, with 1 or 2 letter differences, look like those of law firms and other businesses that regularly perform wire transfer payments. The bigger the wire transfer payment, the better. With look-alike email addresses, scammers receive payments from banks, law firms, soccer clubs, or regular people who don't double-check the recipients of their payments. Authorities claim that the business email compromise scheme netted Hushpuppi and his ring about $431 million, while the joint U.S. Dubai sting also seized about $37 million from his Dubai apartment. According to the FBI and Dubai authorities, Hushpuppi's operation targeted almost 2 million people. Ironically, Instagram helped the FBI confirm Hushpuppi's identity. From his birthday post on October 11, 2017, FBI agents were able to match his birthday with his Nigerian and St. Kitts and Nevis passports. The same platform that got him VIP treatment at high-end shops like Fendi, Gucci, and Louis Vuitton also ended up having him extradited to the US on wire fraud allegations. If found guilty, he could face a maximum of 20 years in U.S. federal prison. Mazini. Mazini is another famous Instagram scammer who, before deleting his Instagram, had 1 million followers and has now been charged with wire fraud as well as aggravated assault, luring an adult, kidnapping, possession of weapons, criminal coercion, endangering an injured victim, and making terroristic threats. Mazini, whose real name is Jabara Agbara, was once famous and viral on Instagram for giving money out to random people spontaneously. At one point, Mazini became such a social media hit that Mazini teamed up with rapper 50 Cent to give out more than $30,000 at a Burger King in 50 Cent's hometown of Jamaica, Queens. Describing himself as an entrepreneur on his Instagram page, Mazini actually made money scamming his followers. The scam played on Mazini's persona as a generous and philanthropic person. In reality, Mazini told his followers he would buy Bitcoin from them for between 3 to 5% above their market value because Bitcoin exchanges were limiting his transactions. Mazini claimed he would wire transfers to the Bitcoin sellers who agreed. He did send altered screenshots of alleged wire transfers to fraud victims, who soon realized they were defrauded after they had the screenshots, but nothing else. In fact, one victim of Mazini's wire fraud even discovered that the bank account associated with the wire transfer had nothing in it. This netted Mazini at least $2.5 million. In a free fall from his once good guy image, Mazini is now being held in a New Jersey jail. His appeal to be released was denied after it also came out he had also orchestrated a kidnapping. From his jail cell in Bergen County in northern New Jersey, Mazini landed himself in hotter water by trying to silence one of his rivals who threatened to reveal Mazini's other scams and crimes. Assisted by 2 of his lackeys, Mazini had his rival beaten up to the point of having a concussion and threatened with a machete. One of Mazini's lackeys made the threat even more explicit by threatening to kill him if he called the police. He did call the police, and he isn't dead yet, but Mazini is now deemed a flight risk and stuck in prison, especially since he even texted friends about plans to leave the USA for Colombia. For his illegal get-rich-quick scheme, Mazini faces up to 20 years in prison, while his kidnapping and assault charges could get him anywhere between 15 to 30 years in prison. It's a sobering prospect for the Instagram personality who obviously loved both cash and attention. Kayla Massa. While Hushpuppi and Mazini pulled off bigger heists, the Instagram scamming game is an equal opportunity employer. You can get scammed by men and women on the platform. Kayla Massa is one example. She scammed on a much smaller scale, to the tune of more than $1.5 million and more than 45 victims that included Instagram followers and businesses. At 22 years old, Kayla from New Jersey was arrested on February 13, 2020. She made her fortune through Instagram and was caught partially through the inevitable paper trail that all social media leaves behind. As of now, 9 other people besides Massa were arrested for their role in a classic get-rich-quick scam conducted mostly on Instagram but also advertised on Snapchat. Massa utilized the ephemeral nature of Instagram stories to show off stacks of cash and money orders with not-so-subtle messages such as, "If you got a bank account and you're interested in making legal money, hit me up ASAP." Massa or one of her co-conspirators would then ask the victims to empty their bank accounts prior to giving her their debit card and PIN. Essentially, Massa attempted to assure victims they did not have anything to lose because they had already withdrawn their own money from their accounts. She would then take fake checks that were under the names of real businesses and deposit them in unknowing victims' accounts and withdraw the cash before the bank's fraud department could reject or further analyze the counterfeit checks. Massa and her co-conspirators would then attempt to launder the illegally obtained money by buying legitimate money orders, often through Western Union. By the time the banks realized the checks were fraudulent, Massa's victims would already have overdrawn the accounts and wouldn't be able to reach her because she had blocked them on Instagram. Usually, the victims had to work out repayment terms with the companies that had fake checks going around in their names. Other times, their debit cards and checking accounts were closed. The businesses whose checks were impersonated also sometimes had to pay fines. Just as she posted photos of herself going shopping with different BMWs, Escalades, and other high-end cars, Massa was also being investigated after several victims of her scam reported being lured by a young woman with the Instagram handle @KGoldie. Coincidentally, in July of 2018, the U.S. Postal Service found out that a New Jersey branch actually had more than 50 missing money orders. That sparked an investigation by authorities ranging from the Postal Service to the local police and to agents from the Department of Homeland Security. Unfortunately for Massa, cameras in a store associated with the fake checks caught her and several of her co-conspirators very often. In fact, the alleged criminals preyed on places they already knew as a key part of their scheme, with the car dealership where one of Massa's friends worked having fake checks passed off as theirs. As luck would have it, a few months after the investigation of Massa began, police in Winslow Township, New Jersey, happened to pull over a black Nissan. After searching the car, they found 30 checks from a local car dealership, Nissan Turnersville, that were written to Keith Williams. No one in the car was named Keith Williams, though, and 2 Bank of America debit cards that were found in the car also didn't match the names of anyone in the car. Blank postal money check orders didn't exactly inspire confidence in the police. The final nail in the coffin seemed to be that the black Nissan's driver had a phone with a photo of a Woodbury Nissan employee's number. That employee was one of only a few people with access to the car dealership's blank checks. None of that would be a big deal, except that around the same time, a Woodbury Nissan dealership had lost a bit less than $14,000 in check fraud. Another 16 car dealerships had also reported check fraud. What did they have in common? You guessed it. They all had done some sort of business with the Woodbury Nissan location. It didn't take long for the authorities to pinpoint Massa once they subpoenaed Instagram for her account information, including its associated phone number. As with many scammers who were savvy on Instagram, but not savvy enough to be low-key while scamming, Massa was sloppy. She deposited fake checks into her mother's bank accounts and had a money order paid out to her sister in her real name. When Massa and her friends bought real money orders to launder the ill-gotten profit, they didn't even bother going to post offices that were out of the way. Instead, they went to post offices near their homes. One of the people caught on camera, the Woodbury Nissan employee. Surprise, surprise. Like Hushpuppi and Jay Mazini, Massa and her gang aren't off the hook just yet. They haven't been sentenced, but have been charged with conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud. Conclusion. And that brings us to today. Hushpuppi, Jay Mazini, and Kayla Massa are probably just the tip of the Instagram scamster world. It's just a matter of who hasn't been caught yet. As with many other social media networks, Instagram was intended as a fast and convenient way for people to stay connected by sharing photos. After all, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Instagram can most definitely still be used that way, but it's also become a way to create your own personal brand, regardless of whether it's connected to reality. Many people maintain an Instagram to cultivate a certain image of themselves, even if it's just to keep up within their own circle. In the case of Instagram scammers, cultivating a certain image, whether it's being affluent, or a prophet, or a sex symbol, helps them lay a foundation for money-making scams. Sometimes it's a long game, and sometimes it's a short game. Their followers seem to enjoy the thrill of living vicariously through the often millennial scammers who also seem to be addicted to enjoying the limelight and keeping up appearances to the very end, even if it's inside of a prison cell. So, with that being said, thank you so much for watching my video. There was a significant amount of research and production that went into making this video possible. As this is a brand new YouTube channel I just started this year, if you enjoy videos like this, please click the subscribe button and hit that notification bell. I respond to all comments. If you haven't seen already, please check out my video on the rise and fall of Second Life or the rise and fall of Google Stadia. As always, stay happy and healthy and stay tuned for another episode of Company Insight next week.